We have scandals on every level, and we don't have to name them. Many of them, they just keep popping up, and it's heartbreaking and it's detrimental. But the reality is that the scandals of famous believers is only an indicator of many moral compromises in local churches that no one has ever even heard of. It happens all the time to various levels, maybe not to that extreme level of a full-blown sexual scandal or a full-blown power, bullying, domineering scandal, or a full-blown like money laundering. But to various degrees, it's happening all over. There's little indicators of emotional infidelity here and there by local church pastors. There are bullying by people in leadership, or bullying by certain powerful members of the church, where unfortunately cowardly church leaders refuse to stand up and actually exercise church discipline because that person just has too much influence, gave too much money to the church, has been in the church for too long, and then money-related issues as well, just a poor use of money of various levels, and that doesn't get confronted. So as you see all of these issues, last example, just as I'm thinking about this topic, is definitely our youth and our children that have grown up in the church and in Christian families. It's so heartbreaking, and I can't help but attribute a core reason for that, not to incidental occurrences like, oh, that's just what happens to young people. No, that's not what happens to young people. What should happen with young people is that when we raise them, when Christian parents and Christian fathers in particular are actually present physically, emotionally, relationally, and especially spiritually in the lives of their children, they are truly raising up their children in the discipline and instruction of the Lord, as Ephesians chapter 6 verse 4 tells us. What should happen is you train up a child in the way that he or she should go, and when he or she is old, they will not depart from that way. Hopefully it's the way of the Lord. That should be the norm. The exception is kids leaving the church. And it's so sad that one of the things that we almost expect now is that particularly the children of some of our key leaders in the church, namely our missionaries and our pastors, the missionary kids and pastors' kids, it's almost expected that many of them will leave church or resent the church or be on the periphery of church, maybe even of faith, leave the faith. That ought not to be. That ought not to be. And it is an indication that something is seriously wrong, and we have departed from the principle of Scripture of what discipleship actually means. In sum, not a class, not a program. It is lifelong discipleship, personalized discipleship, beginning first in the home by parents to their children because they have the primary responsibility, and in the church, it would